Welcome to my kitchen. I assume you're here because you're toying with the idea of trying a meal kit service and you're perusing YouTube looking at various reviews. Well, here's another one. But this one's a little different. Firstly, unlike the others, this one's not sponsored. And I won't be cooking anything or even showing you any of the food or packaging. And I certainly won't be eating any of it in front of you. Maybe it's just me, but I find it watching people masticate on YouTube to be kind of like really off-putting. I know it's kind of strange because I don't have a problem eating in restaurants with other people chewing around me, but on YouTube somehow it's weird. Watching people shovel food in their mouths and act like they're in deep contemplation about how the food tastes or whatever. It's a pass for me, so you're welcome. Look, here's my review, okay? All of this, Blue Apron. All of this, Home Chef. And here just a few months ago, I started the other one, HelloFresh. I've been using these companies for years now, so I know what's up, all right? And here's the gist. They're all about 90% the same. Pricing is similar, food quality roughly similar with a caveat or two, which we'll get into here in a bit. Prep time is similar, by which I mean they're very optimistic. For instance, this one says cook in 30 minutes, prep time 5 minutes. Yeah, that didn't happen. All of these companies, they want to make you think you're going to get done fast. They also like to try and make you multitask. One thing I will suggest is that you read everything ahead of time, get an idea of what they're trying to do, where, and then like me, I just prep everything first, even though they want you to do some prepping later on while other things are cooking or whatever. If that kind of thing stresses you out, you don't have to just give up on this, just organize things in your own way. It comes with you in time. But me, generally, I dedicate approximately an hour for cooking every night. If it turns out to be faster than that, then hey, great. But don't let the cooking times surprise you that way. So I'm here to give you a heads up on exactly what you'll need to make these meal kits work, both in the kitchen and in your brain. First, you need to figure out why you want to do a meal kit service. If you're looking to save money compared to like Sam's or Food King or the like, you're not going to find that here, okay? If you're looking for a cheap and easy, just hit up Taco Bell every night and get a $5 cravings box. If you're looking to feed a large family on a budget, look elsewhere. If you don't like to cook or read recipes, like I said, if it stresses you out, if time management is going to be a thing for you in the kitchen, look elsewhere. If you're a glutton, this might still work for you. I'm 6'4", 220 pounds, and generally I find the portion sizes to be fine. Usually each recipe I get is listed as being for 2 servings, and that's usually how it works out for me. I'll have 1 serving for dinner, and I'm satisfied with it, and I'll pack up the second serving and have it for lunch the next day. So here's my story and why I do it, okay? I'm single, I'm not rich, but I make a reasonable wage, and while I like to cook, in fact, I find it quite cathartic, I do hate the grocery store with a passion. I hate the crowds, I hate the lines, I hate the time and the energy that it takes out of my day. So while it may not be quite as financially cheap as going to the grocery store, the time and the sanity that it saves me is worth it to me. Plus, it's kind of adventurous to try some of these recipes. I know myself and my history, and at the grocery store especially, and if left to my own devices, I fall into ruts of buying the same foods and the same recipes over and over again. With this stuff, I get exposed to new ingredients. Opens my palate and my world a bit. For instance, we'll just pull the first one. Pork lo mein, bok choy, and celery. Before this, I had no freaking clue what bok choy was. Look, it's a thing. Who would have guessed? Believe me, if you get Blue Apron, you're going to be seeing a lot of it. This was a good one. I remember that being good. Yeah, Pharaoh Salad. I was like, what the fuck is Pharaoh? But there it is. You know, I thought that was a card game. Or a litter of pigs. There's some trivia for you. A litter of pigs is called a Pharaoh. So there's lots of stuff I would never have even thought to try before. Of course, I do have limits.
After a night with the hacksaw, I was all ready to put on my chili con carnival so that I could tell you personally about your parents' demise. And of course, feed you your chili. Do you like it? Do you like it, Scott? I call it Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili.
But yeah, nothing these services offer is too far out like that. And nothing offered can't be changed on their websites or apps. They've got plenty of options for various tastes and diets and possible allergies. All right, so phase 2 of this video. Let's have a look at Blue Apron. They're the first service I started with. Oh, man. Now, what did I really like about them? Well, they used an interesting variety of recipes. When it comes to mixing things up and giving you new and unusual style recipes and ingredients, I think they did a great job. And the quality of their vegetables was especially excellent, I thought. I rarely received anything with any brown spots or wilted leaves or stems. They really did sort of give me the impression that, you know, they had sent somebody off to Whole Foods to handpick the ingredients to stick in my box. Really, the only reason I left them was I was looking for more and different delivery options. I had a change in my work schedule, which sort of mixed things up in my life. Well, quite a bit, actually. And the delivery days weren't really working out for me anymore. I will say it's been a while since I used them though, so maybe things have changed on that front. If there comes a day that I feel like leaving HelloFresh, I may come back and give Blue Apron another look. Smoked Gouda quiche. Yeah, I mean, they're the ingredients that they provided. I mean, they're things that I haven't seen. There are a number of ingredients that I haven't seen from either HelloFresh or Home Chef. So it is more variety, I think. Moving on. Home Chef. Best thing about them is their variety of prep options. Remember when I was talking about having to dedicate an hour of prep and cook time? There is an exception to that, and that's Home Chef's oven-ready meals. Basically, it's a full meal. You just sort of toss in an aluminum baking pan, which they do provide. In fact, I've got a couple of them still just laying around. If you're careful with them, don't mess them up too bad. You can't wash them and reuse them. And I still use them for HelloFresh. But yeah, they're oven-ready meals. Basically, it's a full meal, toss in the pan, and then it's going to be things like meatloaf, a lot of pasta bakes, pork chops, things of that nature. And toss them in the pan for 30-40 minutes, and you're good to go. They come out of the oven ready to eat. Very minimal effort, and frankly, I think it's some of their best tasting options. I usually try to get 1 or 2 of those every week. Oh yeah, here's one right here. See, it comes like that. Prep time, 25-35 minutes. With these, that's accurate. So yeah, I get 1 or 2 every week. They were a godsend for days when I had to work late. You know, sometimes after midnight even. I'd come home just super exhausted and starving. And oven-ready meals really worked out. On the whole, Home Chef didn't seem quite as adventurous as Blue Apron. I'm sure you're just seeing a lot of taco style things, a lot of pastas, and they all sort of look the same compared to the Blue Apron, you know? Subjectively, I would say they weren't quite as tasty as Blue Apron either. Additionally, their produce didn't seem quite as fresh. I spent more time picking wilted leaves off of the vegetables and cutting brown spots off of the broccoli, stuff like that. Possibly my biggest gripe, though, was something was up with their chicken, man. This has to be a me problem because in the duration of the time that I used them, for over a year, there was always a problem with the chicken, at least to me. Otherwise, it would have been fixed a long time ago. There was something with the smell. I don't know what it was, but I was constantly turned off by the smell of the chicken. I remember the first time I got a Home Chef box and it had a chicken meal in it, opened the packaging for the chicken, and man, like this chemically, almost petroleum smell just wafted up and hit me. And I was like, no, man, this stuff is off. So I contacted their customer service and they were very apologetic, gave me credit for the meal towards my account. No problemo there. In fact, I'll say customer service for both Blue Apron and Home Chef was excellent. These businesses, they're run by people, and people are imperfect. So there's going to be the occasional mess up. And I do mean occasional. It really didn't happen very often. Maybe something was left out or the wrong ingredients were included. Once or twice, there was a delay in shipping. And by the time the box got to me, it was just way too hot. Just send them a note on their website or their app, and they usually respond pretty quick. Always apologetic with a full or partial refund, depending on the circumstance. I haven't had to contact HelloFresh's customer service yet, but I imagine they're probably just as good. So yeah, the second box I got from Home Chef had another chicken meal in it. Opened that one up and same deal, same smell. And I was like, well, okay, so this is gonna be a thing with Home Chef's chicken. This time I did still try and cook it, but even after I cooked it, the smell was still there. And I don't know if you've ever had food poisoning before. Certainly nothing I ever got from these companies gave me food poisoning. Maybe because I never ate the chicken, at least from a Home Chef. But I have had real food poisoning, and it is something that you do not forget and you do not wish to revisit. So that chicken, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. So I contacted customer service again. And once again, they gave me a partial refund. And they were like, yeah, we're sorry. Sometimes we use different suppliers from time to time. Maybe something was off briefly with one of them, but we'll let management know. The response seemed kind of flat to me. And I figured, well, if this is not already fixed, and then nobody else must be complaining about it. So it's got to be a me thing, like I said. So my resolution was just to avoid chicken meals from them. Every month or so, I get onto their website and look at the defaults and what were in my order. Home Chef does have the option of substituting proteins for a lot of their meals. So sometimes I do that, or I just readjust my order and completely take out the whole chicken recipe and go with another one that I liked better. You'll see it is still on here on occasion. I think I might have substituted pork with this, not sure. Anyway, I managed to avoid the chicken problem for over a year like that. Eventually, though, I did start missing chicken. And I guess they had come on hard times or something, because I was getting a lot of emails from them with ingredient substitutions for various recipes. Usually something small like, due to unforeseen circumstances, we can't include tomato sauce for this particular recipe, so we're including tomato paste and such spices so you can make your own. Refer to step 4 of the recipe and do this instead of that. So, things of that nature. Not so bad if it happens occasionally, but for like 3 months straight, it was happening at least once every order. So I was like, all right, now I'm having to keep track of emails in my inbox to refer to at very specific moments. And I'm having to go in and delete the chicken from all my orders. It's like, nope, I'm starting to have to put a lot of effort into something that I'm paying to not put effort into. So time to move on. So I did to HelloFresh. Been using them for 3 or 4 months now. So far, no complaints. Chicken's fine. Produce quality lands squarely between Blue Apron and Home Chef. As far as tasty factor goes, they're squarely in the middle as well. I will say subjectively, with the stuff I've tried so far, the recipes seem to be the richest in flavor. Maybe not the healthiest compared to the others, but still reasonable and far healthier than fast food or frozen dinners of the like. Yeah, this was a good one. Their delivery days work for me a lot better too. Let me talk about that for a second. This is very important. If you take nothing else from this video, just recognize that time in transit is a huge factor in how this is going to work out for you. I didn't even really realize it myself until recently when I started using HelloFresh. All of these companies, they use their own variations on ice packs, insulation, and things like that to try and keep the foods good while in transit. And it works fine, but none of it is a refrigerator. So as far as I'm concerned, the clock starts ticking from the moment they take their ingredients out of their refrigerator, and that clock doesn't stop until those ingredients are in my refrigerator. Of course, time in transit depends largely on where you live versus where a particular distribution point is for the company. I do live in a fairly large city, but it's not a distribution point for any of these companies. For Blue Apron and Home Chef, the time in transit was basically 2 days, and I'd get the box on the 3rd. For HelloFresh, time in transit is just 1 day, and then I get the box on the 2nd day. With HelloFresh, the ice packs are thoroughly frozen. Everything is still relatively cold to the touch. It is so much more confidence inspiring than getting a box where the ice packs are on their way to mush. Things just don't feel that cold when you pick them up. Now, like I said, I've never gotten sick from any of these things. So yeah, 2 to 3 days transit, I guess, is totally fine. But the shorter that transit time is, I think the better your experience is probably going to be with a particular company. The chicken problem with Home Chef, I don't think that was a transit thing, but maybe. Certainly, cutting 24 hours off of non-refrigerated conditions, that might have made a difference. I can't rule it out. So if you're torn between one service and another, maybe drop each company a line. Let them know where you are. Inquire about where your box is likely to be shipped from. Inquire about transit time. If one service is closer or quotes a faster shipping time, I personally would go for that one. Okay, so that's it for this. Let me clear this up, and then we'll just go over the tools that you're going to need, and then I'll let you all go. All right, here we go. Basic tools of the trade you're going to need for any of these companies, whether it be Blue Apron, Home Chef, or HelloFresh. This is pretty universal. If there are any differences, I'll point them out as we go along. I'll throw in some ingredients that you are still going to have to purchase for yourself. There aren't very many, but I'll get into that too. Just that way you're not caught off guard when your first box arrives and the instructions call for a pan that you may not have, all right? So everything here, as I put it down, recognize you're going to need it. Starting with, of course, a regular frying pan, preferably 12-inch, preferably with a lid. You can do, Teflon. This one's Teflon. It's been working fine. The one prior to that I had, ceramic, worked great too for a very long time. If you want to do cast iron, by all means, go ahead. Just recognize there is more maintenance involved with those, but food comes out great. I've done that too. Regular pot, I think this is like a 4-quart, I don't remember exactly what size it is, but a regular medium pot. And really, that's all you need, just 2 of those. If you want to get a third, by all means, go ahead. Cutting board, going to be required for sure to cut up all them vegetables. some sort of strainer. It can be one like this or one with bigger holes for the pasta and rice and things of that nature. Something like this. Or like I said, if you do wind up with a home chef and you get a oven ready meal, you get something like this. This will work fine too. Measuring cups, get a full set. Measuring spoons, all I've really needed are 1 teaspoon and 1 tablespoon. Outside of regular bowls, maybe just get yourself 2 or 3 other like smaller bowls for mixing. And maybe a larger mixing bowl too. All right. Potato peeler, definitely. I guess you can use a knife if you want, but it's definitely easier with a potato peeler. Something like a ladle. Spatula type dealy to stir things up with, flip things over with. Highly suggest wood for any of the different kinds of, whether it is Teflon or ceramic or cast iron. Really, wood is a way to go if you can get it. All right. Cheese grater. Nah, well, yeah. I use, not usually for cheese, although sometimes. Blue Apron had me grate cheese sometimes. Hello Fresh and Home Chef had me use this side for lemons and limes. There you go. Obviously, you're gonna need some knives. Really just, you can do it with one. These are the 2 that I use the most. You can see I'm partial to knives, so I got some good ones. These are the Wusthof Classic, but they don't have to be this quality, of course. If you want to, in fact, if you're not really into knives and you're looking for the cheap way, just go look at some ceramic ones. I heard those are excellent, and they don't require much upkeep. Foil, you're going to need foil. Oftentimes you're going to need foil to line this, an oven pan, or what are these called? Baking sheets. You're going to need one of these. Optional things you don't necessarily need but make your job a lot easier. Potato masher. Potatoes, you're going to see them a lot with all of these companies because they're cheap, they transport easily, there's a lot you can do with them. So yeah, get ready for some potatoes, which is fine with me. I like potatoes. Have a set of these. Don't necessarily need them. You can oftentimes just flip things with a fork. You're good to go. Garlic. You're going to see a lot of garlic. I forget which companies press or have them with the skin already taken off and which ones leave them on. But yeah, just get one of these. It's so easy to just take the outside off of garlic cloves with this. Just roll it up and down, it comes right off. Whisker, or you can use a fork. But that's basically it about as far as utensils go. Ingredients that you are going to need: salt and pepper for sure. They all want you to use salt and pepper. Might be a good idea to get you a can of cooking spray. They all also are very heavy on the use of olive oil. By all means, get yourself the biggest one that you can get. One thing I will say about HelloFresh that's different from the others is their use of butter. This is the one real gripe I have about HelloFresh. I mean, I don't mind using butter, and like I said earlier, their flavor is often the richest, I think, because they use more butter than the other 2 companies. But at the same time, what's annoying is I'm trying to avoid going to the store. Things like salt and pepper, olive oil, I can just run into like a Walgreens or CVS and buy that stuff. I have yet to find butter at a Walgreens or a CVS. So because of butter, I actually have to go into a grocery store like once a month. You know, I'll pick up other stuff while I'm there because heck, why not? But yeah, it's mildly annoying because you are going to use more butter with them than any of the other companies. The other companies, if they want you to use butter, they'll usually include it. It'll be like the little single serving packets that you get at a restaurant. HelloFresh, you're going to use quite a bit more, sometimes upwards of 3 tablespoons per meal. Also, HelloFresh occasionally likes to use sugar, which they don't include either. The other 2 companies will include it. I've got this old thing I just got lying around. It's usually not very much sugar at all, like maybe a tablespoon at the most, usually more like a teaspoon. Honestly, sometimes depending on what the recipe is, if I don't think it needs the sugar, I'll just leave it out. So do with that as you will. But I think that about covers it. Really nothing else comes to mind that I use all the time, other than another little option that could be helpful is something like this, something like an oven mitt when you're pulling that stuff out of the oven. Of course, you got a rag, you can use a rag. And something, you know, like I said, I'm not sponsored, I'm not trying to be sponsored. Obviously, I only have 3 videos up, nobody's trying to sponsor me either. But if I were to take a sponsorship from anybody, it would be Viva paper towels. I love these, man. The kind that's like cloth. These things, you can reuse them over and over and over again. You can even forget about them in your pocket and wash them, run them through the dryer, and you can still use them. So they may cost a little more, definitely worth it. Help with cleaning up all this stuff too. Okay, so that about wraps us up. I think I've gone long enough. If you've used any of these companies, give me your own opinion on them, what you liked, what you didn't. All right, have a good day. Bye.